Welcome to Mobile by May. I'm Steve May, a residential realtor, a historic preservationist, and a licensed home builder in the state of Alabama. Please join us as we help to showcase all things Mobile, including preservation projects, real estate, Mobile history, and reimagining spaces with architectural salvage. If you're considering buying or selling, please give me a call. I'd love an opportunity to meet with you. You can call or email me below, and please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Steve May with Mobile by May, and today we are going to be featuring architectural gardens, history, ways to repurpose architectural salvage, and all of these kind of together with different design elements. This is really fun. We're actually in my backyard, and I thought, what better place to start than right here around my fireplace. These are all reclaimed bricks from a 200-year-old house that we moved several years ago. And I just love having this fire pit here. And so I wanted to show you these pavers. If you notice these pavers along the lip edge of this, these were actually around the cistern of the old house. So I had saved those this whole time to reuse. And so part of what my passion is saving historic architecture and then trying to integrate it, reimagine it, and repurpose it. We can use it in a different way sometimes. And it's just, it's really creative and it's fun for me. So everywhere in my yard, I have different parts of buildings or parts of houses. And actually, I had this revelation recently that, including my house, this workshop that I'm about to build, and everything in my yard would all be in a landfill. So you can save this stuff and preserve it and then reuse it and make something beautiful. So that's what I'm hoping that y'all can get from this. This is what I love to do. This is what I dream about. So come on in. I want to start here with this salvaged Doric column. This is a 10-foot tall column I saved off a house called the Hawthorne House on Stanton Road a few years ago that was torn down. I saved all the parts of it, and I'm going to rebuild it. I've got 4 of these columns. They're going to go here. It's going to be a Greek revival looking workshop, but I'm going to reuse all of my old, beautiful old cypress. These homes are just real gems. It's a French Creole, raised French Creole house, and what's so neat about it in that period of time, they use strictly cypress because it's very lightweight, it's resistant to insects, and it's just a phenomenal wood. And so there's no telling how old the trees were that these came from. I want you to look at these beams. So these are mortised out, where the mortise and tenon construction, where you have a tenon that fits down in there. So these would be in the floors, and then you'd have the wall studs that would fit in here. They didn't have many nails to use, so they designed them and they framed them that way. And so you know a lot about the Gulf Coast with hurricanes and things like that. One of the things that they did, they used this, was kind of like a corner brace in the ceiling, and you had a wooden peg that went through this hole that kind of bound it and held it together. So here's the old peg. Look how it's square. I'm just fascinated with this. I think this is so cool. It's like Legos for adults. I mean, brilliant way to build. 200 years later, it's still standing. And so I love to use this old material. And I wanted to show you this. This is actually an old piece of heart pine. And look at this. This is why they call it heart pine, because it's basically like kindling. It's so full of sap. It smells like Lysol, you know. And so this stuff is so flammable. It's a great thing to make fires with. And I'm going to come around this way and show you some future home improvement projects I'm going to do in my own home. Sometimes when you find things, you just have to get them when you find them. And then when you have that time a little bit later, then you can actually do the work to put it in the house. So I've had this mantle for almost a year, and my plan is to put this in my front living room. So this is an 1840s, 1850s pictorial marble. Look at how that color comes out, that yellow veining. So this was out of an old Mobile home that I got through a friend, had it in storage for a long time, and I just love putting the water on it because I think it really brings it out so well. But this pictorial marble, it's often called Egyptian marble, is very, very expensive and rare. This yellow veining is really what makes it valuable. And I actually found the insert on eBay, and it was actually from Wisconsin, but I was able to make it work. These are old tabletops of Egyptian marble. And I'm going to cut these to make the hearth. So the next time you see this, it's going to be in my home, in my living room. So this is one of my favorite projects I've ever done. I cannot wait to be able to get that thing going. And then I'm going to take you around to my main part. This is my home office, basically. This is where I spend all my time. This is where I have so much salvage and stuff that's kind of surrounding me. I have some of these from the inside. This is a Corinthian marble capital from the old post office building downtown, built in 1916. It was torn down. But you can see the scales of justice, the key to the city, Corinthian column. It was hand carved. And then my son actually found this urn in a home that was being torn down. So we just save parts of things and try to figure out ways that we can use them. For instance, this whole herringbone pattern patio was all reclaimed brick. I dug those out with a pickaxe, the base of some piers on a house that was torn down. And then I've got old cast iron work. See the Georgian shell on there? Represents eternity. And this is from an old building downtown. They had so many different styles of cast iron work. And I love this mantle. Look at this. Imagine the talent it took to be able to do that by hand with that shell. So I have this beautiful mantle. And again, different parts of buildings. This is from an 1850s building. This is a column to what I believe is the oldest house in Mobile that my house was originally attached to. 1825. My goal is to be able to rebuild this. But you see how it was built to fit into the siding, the way it's got that edge like that. It's pretty remarkable. And then, I've always got shutters. This is a 11-foot tall shutter from an old Mobile house on Government Street. It was torn down years ago. It's about 11 feet tall. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of give you a little tour, give you some ideas on the things that you can do. I love ironwork and bricks and Bellingrath tile and all different kinds of things that you can reuse in different ways. Look at how that beautiful color comes out. That's going to be a floor somewhere. Then found an old horseshoe. Got all different types of kind of crazy, zany things, I guess. These stones, I had read an article that 200 years ago, people would bury their treasures under their front stairs. So when we moved the house, I took a pickaxe and dug a 6-foot hole, 6-foot deep hole. And I started finding these awesome rocks thinking that maybe I'm going to find some treasure, but didn't happen. But I saved those. So just doing some different things. This is actually a keystone to a mantle that I found in New Orleans. I'm going to show you that in a second. So, I try to save everything that I can, but it's so important to keep it dry because we get, over 5.5 feet of rain a year here in Mobile. So I've got all different remnants of marble and granite and different, it's so interesting. I love to take architectural things and make kind of a garden out of it. And my friend was telling me, well, Steve, the important thing is you actually have to have plants. So I reluctantly complied and added some plants to it as well. But I just love, all these treasures. But look at this mantle that I have and look at the keystone. I found that in New Orleans and it fits and it matches perfectly. So I'm going to end up putting that. I'm thinking about using that in a kitchen and doing that over a stove and then doing some old tile in the background of it. These are some of those old newel posts that I saved from that house that was demolished last month in Oakley. Just sinks and all these things I'll end up using in a restoration that I'll be doing. These beautiful palm trees. And so a lot of this stuff, it just requires a little imagination and some elbow grease. But I've got parts of old buildings. This is one of the old jail doors from the downtown jail. Downtown thing weighs like 200 pounds. Old curbing, granite curbing we used to use downtown. We've got thousands of old bricks, which I know looks like junk right now, but it's going to be beautiful once we repurpose it and make sidewalks and raise flower beds and patios out of it. We've got this beautiful Victorian cast iron light, which I want to use. And then always ironwork. I love ironwork and brick and marble and all these old world materials. So when they tear down a house, it's so sad. But what I love to try to do is at least save some parts of it and then try to reuse it somewhere else. So look at this column. This is a 10-foot tall column off the house at the corner of Regina and Texas Street. And I've got 6 of those different parts laying down here. And my plan is to do a pergola over this back corner of the house. And so I'll have that with my workshop over here to the left, and it will all kind of hopefully coalesce together. Then I have all these wonderful banana trees. I love the way the wind blows. They're so beautiful. And this is kind of a little hidden garden that I have back here. And love walking down through this area. All of these stepping stones are actually remnants from old hearths, from old mantels that were going to be thrown away, and I just save and use in a different way. And then it's kind of funny because I have chickens, and I made a chicken coop out of architectural salvage. Every bit of this, even the roofing was extra stuff. But it's tongue and groove flooring and cast iron work. It's kind of my Victorian chicken prison, I call it. And then check this out. This is my nesting box, and this is a stair tread to the 1830s house that I saved. So that kind of tickles me. Sometimes you can just found items. I found that old fence on the side of the road, and then made a little greenhouse out of some old windows. So it just never stops. When you find the material, you can figure out different ways to be able to use it. And I even found this weather vane, which I thought was a real cool deal. And then I have little gardens and things with ironwork. But I just, we've covered so much about Mobile and Mobile's history and architecture and art and culture and all these things together. Shiloh, hey buddy. I just thought it would kind of give some insights into what I love doing. And I think there's so much incredible material that we have that we need to try to save and try to reuse it and make something that can live on and honor our ancestors and preserve the past for future generations. And I just cannot wait to get my workshop started. And we will be, hopefully the next time we'll be doing this, I'll be showing you the finished results of the workshop. Hey everyone, we are here in Oakley Garden Historic District, continuing kind of our theme about gardens and art and saving historic remnants of different pieces of buildings. Look at this. This is a hitching post where they used to hitch the horses up to, and it's cast iron, but it looks like a log. Isn't that neat? And then you look at this sidewalk, which is all flagstone. So back hundreds of years ago when they brought ships over, they would use this as weight, as ballast to kind of keep the ship steady. And they used them to make these beautiful sidewalks. I just love this old world look. You've got a cast iron gas lantern here with beautiful live oak trees. And look at this Queen Anne Victorian. It's a brick. It's just a stunner of a house. I just love this style. It's such a unique home. The brickwork, even the stairs are cast iron. That's how smart they were. In the Victorian era, everything had to be beautiful and it also had to be functional. So we get 5 feet of rain a year here. So the stairs rot off. So they made them out of iron, and here they are 200 years later, and they still look great. Look at these columns. Talk about unique. Look at these. These are just really one of a kind. Have really high ceilings with the brick and very thick walls to keep the heat out because it's so humid and hot in the summer. And you can close the shutters, so if we ever have a hurricane, it helps to keep everything inside. And then it's got these beautiful lintels. And this is actually like Bohemian glass, and the inside is red. This door surround with this tracery on the glass. It's just so much, just a beautiful area, and the way it's landscaped. So they've got all this, it's kind of like nature and art and historic architecture all kind of blending together. Look at this little pathway. It's got old Mobile brick and gravel. It's got these beautiful azaleas and boxwood and gingers. We have a subtropical climate here, so it's a lot of things that just really thrive back here, but what a treat this is. Look at this beautiful courtyard back here. It's like a New Orleans style courtyard with this flagstone and brick and raised gardens and beds. I mean, it's just really stunning area. Look at this live oak tree, the way it just twists up. I just love this with this babbling fountain. You can just hear the sound of that. Wouldn't this be a place to read a book and just sit out here and drink a cup of coffee? I just love this. And it's got some koi in the water. Look at those little fish. Of course, the trees are so old, they're massive, and the homes were all hand built. So everything is just so much thought went into the way that it was designed and constructed to weather the elements. Even the hipped roof on the front is designed that way because of the hurricanes we have. It helps to keep the roof, help the roof down. And you got a little parapet here on the side of the roof as well. Look at this. This is just really lost craftsmanship, and I love it. It's what makes it special to be here, and I'm just so glad we have other people that are so respectful that they preserve it for future generations to enjoy. So I hope y'all enjoyed this little garden tour.
Thank you for listening to Mobile by May. Please make sure to leave us a review on the podcast platform. Share with your friends on social media. We love questions, so feel free to text us at 601-955-3490 or smay@samwinter.com. You can also follow Steve May on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.